field and he got that last. The grass and the weeds was up to his chin. The grass and the weeds had grown so high it called.
Welcome to Driven by Mihandises, and I will continue today where I left, and it won't be long because I have to go. Tonight I need a break, and I wanted at least one live session today, but yeah, I really need a break, and I will take off and go have fun. And yes, so I will continue the tutorial as usual. And oops. So where were we? Why is my face dark here? Let's put it back like that. Just do the hedging of my face. I will go around 5.5, like in an hour. So we have a little hour to do this. So where's my music? I was listening to new music to put in, not like the president of Russia, like the verb put in. So where were we? So when you want free music on Pixabay, don't pick those with the little tongue out. It's like I don't know how to use it in English. In French we say grimace. In English we say wince. Wince. Grimace. You don't say grimace. Stop that. We say grimace. You say wince. Grimacing, you say that in English. Is my microphone working? Yes, the mic is working. Is the chat working? I had someone special yesterday in the chat and it was fun. Mr. Sam Bladder. I had a good laugh. Test. So as usual, YouTube is not up there with us. We need to get YouTube some slap. Oh, there's someone listening. Hyperbeamer. Thank you for the test, Hyperbeamer, but I want a test from YouTube. And I think I will have to disconnect YouTube and reconnect. Oh no, don't be sorry. That was really, that brightened my day. So YouTube is there and there and there. I have many emails. Have you seen? Don't worry, I'm not crazy. I just work in IT stuff. So I'm currently Hyperbeamer in the tutorial L. I'm just going to do another test for YouTube, and YouTube is not there. It's like the little brother or the He's not there. He's not all there. So let's put. That's funny. Erotic fantasy. It doesn't sound good, I think. Yeah, what I thought. I think I downloaded it and put it in the list for the stream. Let's play the next one, the dragon and the elf. That sounds good just by the title, Oblix, by Oblix, and it's free for the stream. Mr. Hyper Beamer. If you want some music for your stream, there you go. Open where we left. I'm working on my game, of course. I should have said that at the beginning of the video. Now, the game is little elves living in the walls and in the floor gaps, like the Borrowers, if you know the book or the series or the movie. So they live in, the player lives as elves in the walls, and they try to survive by stealing or borrowing stuff in the house. So it's very early on in the development right now, and I'm working on the procedural house, and I'm following a tutorial for creating this procedural house. Procedural. Let's take a look. So I made a little menu here with this is not the final, it's just a placeholder made with AI. I would like an artist to do the background. It's my kind of game at least. I shifted and thought about it. I wanted to do something I would like to play. So this is the menu I did last series of live stream. I use a system you can find on YouTube somewhere. I provided the video. So let's play, and for now I just have the basic guy in Unreal so far, but I added a zoom in, zoom out. And for the house, it's on another map, which is in this map, and I was working on it. So yeah, it's a procedural house. So it's made with PCG, which is not Epic is still working on PCG. It's in beta version, but in short, it's procedural modeling. So I can move the square which holds the base of the house, and it will adapt the walls and floors. And I have some value there with the number of floors. So this was what I'm doing right now. And you, Hyper Beamer, I will guess you are a streamer too, and you work on a project. Usually that's the case when someone come in. They are streamers working on something, but sometimes they are just regular guy. Another time I had a musician not working on anything. So yeah, that's the stuff I'm doing. Got the asset free on Epic Store by patiently waiting for the free deal to pop out every 2 weeks. So I have a ton of asset I can use. and it's very well done.
Said no, haha, I just browse Twitch streams, not really able to code anything past print hello world, honestly.
Oh, that's fine. Well, I guess you have tried the code. If you know Hello World, you have tried the basic tutorial. It's not that hard. It's not. I when I started, I thought that I needed to understand everything, and I think like the worst thing to do is Hello World tutorials. You need to do a project, and then you search what task you need to do exactly in your game. But of course, they are prerequisite. Like you cannot do an MMO, online MMO right away. You would need like resources. You would need to pay a web server and a server, many things. You need to start the game with multiplayer in mind, because you cannot add multiplayer later on in development. Or you can, and it will be very buggy and hard to do, long and hard to do. It's like redoing your game all over again with multiplayer. But a part of that, you don't need much. Maybe the
Said tried coding a few times, created a few mods for UE4 games and other games, but that's about it. Plus,
Oh.
seems like a very hard to learn engine. It'd probably start with Godot or something.
Yeah, I started with Godot. I started 3 years ago with Godot, and that's GD script. And then I took a course in game programming for almost 2 years, and now I'm fluent in C#, C++, Blueprint, anything. We covered pretty much everything in the course. And yeah, it's not that hard. You just need like the basic, like the struct, how your struct and dictionary and your arrays and vector works in the language you use. You need the design pattern. You need to know the basic design pattern that are mostly used in game programming, and that's almost it. That's it. You don't need much in that. You can go and make a project, check some tutorial, but of course, when you know the drill, you know what tutorial to check and what tutorial to not check. That's the thing.
Depth and
You can interrupt me if you want, Hyper Beamer, anytime.
for our height, just like we had it plugged in here. So now it's a lot cleaner, which is great. So now we can actually use that same setup now for Mesh 2. So what I'm going to do is take just these nodes right here and duplicate them down. But what I'm going to do is change the actual object from path, because now it's no longer detail walls. These are our regular walls. So change the property name to regular walls. And now we can plug in the same variables as we had for the one above into this one, and plug the points from Mesh 2 into scale wall size. And I'll go ahead and delete this extra static mesh spawner. We do not need it. And now if we come here, well, it looks all correct. And if I change the wall size, let's say 200, you can see all of them just get narrower. And I can make it much wider.
Yeah, I did what he said, and I'm not. There's something wrong in there, in his. It doesn't fit with my meshes, because I cannot stretch it like he does. So I will have to look at it. I want to finish the tutorial and then later take a deeper look, because I will need to modify it to my needs. So where where I think I did what he said, so I'm just right next in the next step. Oh damn, the PCG are all effed up. They don't save correctly. I understand why Epic says it's in beta version. It has some difficulties with the comment blocks. When you add comment blocks, PCGs are... Did I... Yeah, I say the right name. PCG. Okay. So I did what he said there. Next, I will drag this out and this out too.
And it's all adjusting accordingly.
Oh, I forgot the music. Was this music good? Some kind of. It's a lot loud, not loud, but distracting. But maybe I can add it. There's no little tongue out. The music with the little tongues, if you are a streamer and you want, don't add them. As I said before, Beamer went on. The thing is, sometime like the author can change and say, no, I don't want it to be free anymore, and then you get your video demonetized. So pick the other ones. And sometimes I encountered people putting the music that are not theirs, and I get license, and then I check and it's another name. They don't put the same name, but because YouTube will tell you, hey, you have this music in your stuff, and then you read the music you downloaded and none fits, the title doesn't fit. It's because the guy who uploaded it in Pixabay pick some music with license, downloaded it, put it on the Pixabay, and you got stolen music. It can happen. It happened to me. So let's hear this one before downloading. Will I move this? Maybe. Next.
In fact, if I go really tall, really short, it doesn't matter. It all comes back to the right side, even the width. So if we come here and take a look at them, you can see the width here all lines up, and I change the wall thickness. I can make it 50, 60, 80, right? It becomes thicker.
What? I want to see that on mine. I guess that won't work. I think it doesn't work. Either I missed something and did something wrong, which I guess I didn't, or it is just because I don't have the same mesh as this guy. And I think I know what I should do. So the thickness should make it thicker. Where is it? It's in there. Thickness. Oh, I capped it. No, it doesn't work. So there's something wrong on my side. I think if this doesn't work, so I will uncap it. It's in. He put this in the blueprint. Blueprint. Wall thickness. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I hope you come back someday. Okay. So let's see with the uncap. Yeah. What it does is it takes it from the limit and make it larger. Yeah.
Thicker, which is perfect. There is one small problem with this setup though, and that is if I make the unique ones all the way on top, like so, you can see these are the unique ones, and if I go from above, the meshes for this are technically the right width. Their pivots are kind of in the wrong place. Because of this, on the inside, they're not actually perfectly flat here. So this is something to keep in mind. You want to make sure that your meshes are going to be the right thickness in the actual wall piece. It's fine that the pivots are out here or inside, but they want to be consistent. So while I can go ahead and change the thickness here, and you can see it all gets thickened properly, we're never going to be able to get rid of this gap. This is a modeling change that needs to happen, and that's just because I'm using two meshes that were not really built for interiors. Now the last thing is, we have this on the inside, and we don't like that. We want to have some kind of walls on the inside. So let's take care of this next. What effectively we need to do is go through every single mesh and check, does it have the bool? If it does, go ahead and copy a second copy of it on the other side. And if it doesn't, just continue on as you were. But that means we need to actually create another loop that goes through every single mesh like we did before. We'll go ahead and create a new PCG graph by right-clicking, search for PCG. As before, grab ourselves a PCG graph and call it PCG close open back walls.
Nope. It's not just to make fun. It's not that. It's just my preference. I prefer one-sided because that's how I would call it in 3D if I modeled the mesh. My music is gone. Was it good? It was some kind of... It fits my ambience. Let's get it. Made by a robot. There, a little robot head. It's made by robots. Oh, it's too exciting. Too exciting. Fantasy magic. That's not loud. What's wrong with you? Not playing or what? Crescendo Fantasy, yeah. It's not playing anymore. I have no sound anymore. Oh, sometimes he breaks. Yes. So I don't like open back, and yeah, I will name it my. I hope it won't mess my comprehension later on of the code. So he made a PCG graph, name it PCG. Open back mine is since is not a boolean, I will just name it one-sided. And I guess he will drag and drop it into this.
We're going to have a different version for the floor because it's going to be flipped in a different axis. So with our closed open back walls, I'll go ahead and drag it in here and select a loop node. And
yes.
Double click it.
Yes, sir.
To open. Let's open our input and output. For input, instead of spatial types, we want points.
What? Okay, he wants point. And
we want it to be a loop, and under pin status,
a loop. Open pin status required.
We want it to be required. For the output, we want the allowed types to be point as well. We'll go ahead and change
output allowed type point.
Change the label on this for regular walls, and we want one other output here, and this is going to be our interior walls.
Regular walls, and the other pin interior walls. I guess he would change it to the same. Interior walls.
And the type is also going to be point.
Points.
And make sure to change the pin status on the first one from advanced to normal. So now this one's pretty simple.
What?
Point, and make sure to change the pin status on the first one from advanced to normal.
And nothing else.
So
okay.
Now this one's pretty simple. Just like before, we're going to get attribute from point index. Our input type is actually not going to be mesh this time though, right? Because we need to grab a different variable. We have ours called open.
What did he say now?
We want to do a brand input, and that's where we want to put this attribute to. And then our output A goes to regular walls, but an open back. So that's what we want to grab. So in our input source, I'll input open back. And now we want to do a branch. So right click, search for branch. And if you open it up, you get output to be as an
open what?
Back. So that's what we want to grab. So in our input source, I'll input open back. And now.
Okay. So mine is not open back. And what was the file he looked at? It was the I remember this file. It was in the data or something.
We want to do a branch. We want to grab. So in our input, we need to grab a different variable. We have ours called open.
What was this file? I don't remember. And he's on the yeah, this one. So I'm pretty sure I've put there is open. And
open back.
He's on regular walls. I put many of them. Is one-sided. So I will write is one-sided. Just to be sure, sometime I could have named it the same as him without noticing. I'm not a machine. I can make mistake.
Back. So that's what we want to grab. So in our input source, I'll input open back. And now we want to do a branch. So right click, search for branch. And if you open it up, you get output to be as an input. And that's where we want to put this attribute to, because that is a Boolean attribute that is going to make it so it outputs to B. And then our input goes in, and then our output A goes to regular walls, and output B goes to irregular walls, because it either does A or B. And in both scenarios, we want the regular stuff to go to the regular walls, but we also want a second copy to go to interior walls. So we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a transform points here. Again, because I have this little issue here, and because of the way the pivot points are set up on this mesh, I'm going to make an offset of -50 here on the Y, and then I'm going to uncheck uniform scale and scale it in -Y in both minimum and maximum. And that is going to go into our interior walls. There's a nice simple graph here. So now because I have areas, we want the regular stuff to go to the regular walls, but we also want a second copy to go to interior walls. So we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a transform points here. Again, because I have this little issue here, and because of the way the pivot points are set up on this mesh, I'm going to make an offset of -50 here on the Y.
Yeah, that's the issue with that. It only applies to his meshes. It's on mesh, but I will do it just so I know where to go to do special cases like this. I will see that the gap. Uncheck the uniform scale
and scale it in -Y.
what the
in both minimum and maximum.
What the negative? It doesn't work. It acts as, oh, there's a little catenna here. It was locked by default in mine.
And that is going to go into our interior walls. There's a nice simple graph here. So now before the static mesh spawner, we're going to plug this in. So just like before, we cannot plug this in directly. We need to get an attribute partition, but we want to partition it again based on the mesh. So I'll search mesh.
Oh yeah, it's there. Mesh.
An attribute partition, plug that into our endpoints. And in my case, I'm just going to spawn the same mesh on both sides. So I'm going to plug this in like so. I could take this and duplicate it down and plug it in the same way.
I'm going soon. Like in 15 minutes.
For the other ones. So now if we take a look, you can see it is actually has placed the walls on both sides. Now again,
I would find a solution better than that, I think, if it does what I think it will do. Let's take a look. The thing is, he did like the solution for his mesh.